So, I want to tell about the world of Lands of Ruin a bit.
Yeah. So, the world of Lands of Ruin takes place in the near future of the real world, about 100 years in the future to be exact, which is several decades after a Third World War global conflict that destroyed the majority of civilization. There are a few remaining technologically advanced cities that have continued to progress, but the majority of the world is a desolate wasteland where there are tribes of survivors who have joined together in order to ensure their own survival. And that's where the majority of the game takes place. Basically, over around 50 years, these different people have grouped together in different regions, kind of creating their own cultures and mythologies and views. A lot of it is intentionally left vague, since none of these people really have an objective recording of history since the war. A lot of it is infused with fact and fiction, and each tribe kind of has their own way of explaining how things came to be the way they are. So as players, you take control of one of these tribal factions, or a subset of a tribal faction. Each one has its own strategy for survival, their own ideals and goals for fighting the different battles that they find themselves in.
So, what about the level of technology? It's a bit higher than what we have now.
Yes. Level of technology, we've projected it forward around 50 years, but we've tried to keep it what would realistically be developed by science in that time. It's still familiar to modern technology, but a lot of things that science constantly tells us are just about to be developed and discovered. You don't have things like teleportation or cloaking devices or things like that, but you have slightly higher tech weaponry and drones, battle mechs, automated tanks, things like that.
Nice. Who is the player fighting?
So each player is fighting to gain supremacy for their tribe over all the others. And each tribal alliance has their own goals and ideals. For example, the Reclaimers, they believe that they know the reason why society failed and civilization crashed, and they believe they have the answer. They're very militaristic, so their goal is to conquer and subjugate all the remaining humans on the planet and impose their very Spartan society on all of humanity to fix the problem that caused the Lands of Ruin. Alternatively, the Balians, they're basically descended from criminals, mafia, sociopaths, things like that. So their main goal seems to be simply violence for the sake of violence and destruction. Depending on the player's personality, they may choose one tribe or another, hopefully which matches their particular interest and gaming strategy.
The players also they fight each other, but they also fight the world, right?
Exactly. Yes, so your opponent in Lands of Ruin is only one of your concerns. Just like in real-world battles all throughout history, the environment and geography and things like that have to be taken into consideration as well. In Lands of Ruin, we actually try to incorporate non-player characters, which may include the living dead or drones, mechs, even weather, things like that may affect visibility or commands being sent and received properly. It may change your strategy in the middle of the game. It may affect one player's team more than the other player's team. It's very dynamic, and we try to keep it as realistic as possible.